right, hey. Guess we're queued up. We're ready to go. Let's go. Welcome. My name is Jennifer J. I am the Premier VA. I create and set up systems and automations for business owners so that they can grow and scale their businesses. And I do it because there's a gap in the industry. Most business owners don't know how to set up systems for their business, let alone they don't know what to set up for their businesses, right? So that's where I come in at. And where I come in at is I help you identify what system will work best for your system processes and what system will work best for your tech style, right? All of us aren't techie. And so some of us need something simple. Some of us can get difficult things. But that's what I do. All right. And today we're going to talk about, do you need a VA or do you need a system, right? This is one of the questions that most business owners struggle with, right? And we all didn't start out with team members. We all didn't start out with VAs, right? So let's backtrack and let me tell you my story, right? So when I first decided that being a virtual assistant was brought to me in 2007, right, by a family member. So in 2007, I was a single mother with 3 children trying to figure it out, right? I was trying to work and figure it out, pay my bill, pay my rent, pay the bills, make sure my kids have school clothes, make sure we have food on the table. So when it was brought to me, in my mind, I said, this is awesome because yes, I can work from home. I can be here when my kids get home from school. And this will be an awesome opportunity for me, right? But the one thing that stopped me was, wait a minute, I can't go without money. So you're trying to tell me I have to get my own clients? Are you trying to tell me I have to work this business and I'm trying to work at the same time? I don't have time. I can't do that. It's only me. My children are dependent on me. So I studied it. And at the time, my cousin sent me a book. I mean, it was a binder of worksheets and documents about becoming a virtual assistant, me getting my mission statement together, my vision statement, all of those things. But I couldn't go without making money. I was my only support system. So I couldn't do it at that time. And so fast forward to 2015, I said, I'm going to make this work. And in 2015, we had more online activities available to us. Okay. In 2007, we did not. So now we have more things available to us online. So I figure I'm going to make this work. I'm going to start this business because people were always asking me, can I help them with their business? Why would they ask me that? Because I was raised in a business. I ran my construction company. At 19 years old, I was an office manager in the field foreman for construction. So I knew how to starting a business and getting it together, and the back end structure was nothing to me because before I had to go outside, I had to write payroll checks at 14. So that was easy. So I said, I'm going to make this a business. Okay. So I started on getting my everything on the back end together and working my 9 to 5 at the same time. So I'm working my 9 to 5. I'm coming home. I'm working on this business. I start getting things out there for clients, right? Okay. Work with me. What happens with that though, when you work a 9 to 5? You are trying to check your email. You're trying to see who sent you a message, who interacted with any of your systems, right? And I couldn't continue to do that because it was taken away from my job. So I started researching systems, and one system came to me that I landed on pretty much after all my research. And that system was Dubsado. So once I got that Dubsado system, what do you think happened? Now I'm able to let that system work for me and not take away from my 9 to 5. And then I can cultivate that audience. I can get people on my schedule. I can get people to work with me because the system is doing all of the upfront work, and it's not taken away from me at work on somebody else's dime trying to run my business, right? And I still have that same system to this day. So back then, could I afford a virtual assistant? Heck no. I couldn't afford a virtual assistant. I was barely making it. I'm trying to make sure my kids have school clothes. And I told you I had 3. So each one of them had to have a set of school clothes. You know you had to go school clothes shopping. Then we got to make sure we had the food. So, summer food and school time food is totally different, right? So I didn't have time to do all of that. Plus I had to make sure I was paying the rent and the bills, and the car had gas, and I was doing all of this myself. I told you I'm a single mother with 3 kids, okay? And once I got the Dubsado system, $25 a month. That's all I was paying. $25 a month. And this system allowed me to fast forward, quit my job, and work my business full time because it was bringing in the people. It was putting people on my schedule. Whereas I'm not sitting there with my phone trying to email people back and forth. Are you available here? Are you available here? Are you available here? And then I didn't want them to know I still worked a 9 to 5 because they would say, oh my goodness, how can you work for me if you work a 9 to 5? Because I'm just that good, but you don't know that, right? So my question to you is, do you need a virtual assistant or do you need a system? And I have 3 questions. Are you in a place to hire a virtual assistant? Are your back-end systems ready for a virtual assistant? Are you ready for the growth? Okay? Because if you aren't ready for the growth, things are just going to crash and burn. All right? So let's talk about what a virtual assistant is. A virtual assistant is a self-employed person who provides professional, administrative, technical, or creative services, right? So people think virtual assistants and they think, oh, they just do admin. No, virtual assistant is such a vast category because they specialize. Virtual assistants specialize in a specific area that they're great at, right? And when you hire a virtual assistant, you're hiring their expertise. So, number 1, you have to be clear on what type of virtual assistant you need. A social media manager could be a virtual assistant, right? Excuse me. So, now, my first question was, are you in a place to hire one? Have you identified the need for a virtual assistant? And how would you know that you need a virtual assistant? Okay, so let's go back. Are your business processes documented? You guys are going to hear me say this all the time. I know you're sick of hearing it. Trust me, I don't like to do it either. But that is the only way that we can lay things out and look at a blueprint and say, okay, this right here is where I need help. This right here is what is getting on my everlasting nerves. This I cannot stand to do. So once you analyze your processes, Now you're looking at them and saying, can I automate that? Can it be automated? Right? Not, I need help. Yeah, you do need help. We all need help. But what type of help do you need? So most of the things that people need a virtual assistant for, they need a system for. So that brings me to the next question. Are the back-end processes set up? So what we're going to discuss is systems, right? You need systems, but what type of systems do you need? You need software systems, and you need a set of processes that are a system, right? So one of my good friends who owns a salon, she says, listen, when I'm documenting my processes, I documented my processes from outside the door, and I recorded them just like this. I apologize. I recorded them saying, I walk into the door, I open the door, and because of Chicago, she said, look in the mirror that I have to make sure no one is following you. Close the door, lock the door, proceed to the desk, and she goes step by step. That's a system. Because if that's not documented, then how would the person know that that's what they need to do, right? How would the person know that they need to do these things, right? But this is the system that you've developed. So all of us in our business have developed systems for ourselves. So for me, when I wake up in the morning, I get up, I scroll to see what I've missed because I go to bed early, y'all. So I scroll to see what I've missed, all right, in the different teams. Then once I see that, I'm like, all right. And I get on Clubhouse with my wonderful mods and lessons learned in business. I get on Clubhouse at 7. And while I'm on Clubhouse, I'm either responding to my team or responding to emails. Then at 8 o'clock, I'm on another call, the morning meetup with my other wonderful client. Then at 9 o'clock is my time. That's a whole system. So if someone was to replace me, that process needs to be documented. Okay. But what was I checking? I was checking only a couple places because everything else is systematized. So here's what I mean. As business owners, we have to start using our calendar. You want to hire help, but there are things you definitely need to put in place, especially for a virtual assistant and automation. You have to start using your calendar. Everything you do needs to be on your calendar. If you are trying to block out time for certain things, that needs to be on your calendar, whether it's personal, whether it's business. And why? Because if you set up a system, appointment scheduling system, that appointment scheduler is looking at your calendar to see if you're available. If you hire a virtual assistant, that virtual assistant is looking at your calendar to see if you're available. If they book in a slot that you have that's not available, then number one, your system look like it doesn't know what it's doing. And furthermore, your virtual assistant look like they don't know what they're doing. So that is why you want to make sure that you have the back end processes. Get your calendars and start using them. Start blocking off your time. Even if you work a 9 to 5, put on there, travel to work, 7 to 8, travel to work, 9 to 5, work. Then, mine used to say 9 to 5 work, and then 6 to 11 PVA. That's what my calendar used to look like. So whatever you're doing, it needs to be on there. If it's date night with my wife, put date night with my wife and block that off, and nothing comes in front of that, right? Nothing. Date night with my husband. Put that on there. Okay. We have to start working using your calendar. Okay. So, because it's frustrating as an assistant when you're trying to schedule things and be efficient in your business and you have to backtrack. So make sure that your back-end systems are together. That's the very first thing. All right. Then let's talk about service-based businesses, coaches, and consultants. For us, the number one thing we need to do is to have people schedule appointments with us without us going back and forth in our email or the DMs trying to see who's available. No, you should just hit them with the link. I love doing that. I'm sorry. Anybody who knows me know I love that. I think I'm going to do a reel on that. Hit them with the link. All right. So you want to schedule an appointment with me? Sure. You can schedule an appointment with me. All right. So also that link, let me tell you how that link needs to go. That link needs to say, here are the questions that I need from you before we get on the call. Here is what I need to know about you so that I can make an informed decision. So that link needs to be a questionnaire first, and then they can get on the call if the questions are in alignment with your business. If they are not in alignment, then you can help them with something else, and you can have that direct them to something else and not an appointment, right? So that's a whole entire system, and that whole entire system is what helped me when I was working a 9 to 5. It helped me when I'm out doing things throughout the day, because people can click on that link and they can go through the questionnaire, and the questionnaire can answer their questions. And depending on how they answer, you could get a call. Now I have the playbook. So now the playbook teaches you. You just don't have me doing it. It teaches you everything I'm going to go through. I give you a prime example. I was on a call with a client, and basically I told the client, like, hey, you just need to get the playbook. And this was probably like in the middle of our call. All right. And once that person bought the playbook and was looking at it like, this is everything you just told me. Yes, it is. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you my processes. Okay. So there are people who don't have time. I don't have time. Here, girl, just do it. How much is it? All right, go. But there are people who are trying to get there. They don't have that. So I give you the step-by-step on how to set these things up. And if you have this system set up, this will help you be put into a place where you can afford to hire an assistant. So I have assistants, but that system is still running, because now your assistants are focused on other things. They're not focused on checking emails and going back and forth scheduling with someone. Like you're taking a scheduling system that takes 3 to 5 days, because if they get busy and forget, then you got to keep following up with them. And then 3 days later, now you have an appointment set. Whereas you could have just hit them with the link. They can look at your calendar and they can book when it's available for them and it's available for you. That takes 5 minutes. So that's another back-end system that needs to be set up. Okay. Now, the other back-end system, and I also teach this in the playbook, is your email inbox. Most people's email inbox is a hot mess, right? And you don't know what is going on, but you want somebody to jump in this inbox and say, hey, answer my emails. And it's like, what? What? So the first thing that I do when I get into email inboxes is I categorize everything. There are something called labels in Gmail inboxes. There is something called folders in Outlook inboxes. Start categorizing things. I love the labels in Gmail because you can filter and label emails so that it's not so overwhelming. You can configure and direct emails where you want them to go in your Gmail inbox. You can make them go into the promotions folder. You can make them go into the social tab. You can make them go into the updates tab. So one thing I do is, you know how you get all of the notifications for payments from like PayPal, Stripe, Square, all of those I put in a tab. I color code them and I put in a tab so that if we're looking for a payment, we don't want to go into that payment system, we can look in that tab in Gmail. Same thing in Outlook, you can put them in a folder, right? And so once you create a label in Gmail, it's the same thing as a folder. You click on it and it shows you everything under that label. So these are things that you can get set up, and definitely you can get set up, by going to pvaplaybook.com and getting a playbook. But this is just the back end system that you need to set up. And maybe your VA knows how to do that. If they don't, have them get the playbook and run through it. So it's not simple, but it's simple because you want to make sure that your VA that you hire is not frustrated and overwhelmed, right? If this is what they do and they operate in this excellence and they can set up your systems and organize everything, then awesome. But make sure you're prepared to pay for that every month, because that type of VA has a special skill set and they're not going to be cheap, right? Okay, so number 3, are you ready for the growth? Are you ready for the growth? So once you start automating your business, once you start hiring virtual assistants, this now should give you time to be able to work now on more income generating activities, right? Because once you get the system set up, once you get the virtual assistant set up, now you're able to do other things. Now you're not the one talking to people or scheduling systems out. And I know what people say, well, I don't want my business to be fully automated. Let's talk about that. Who is your target client? Because what you want is important, but not really. Because it's about what they want. What do they want? Yes, you can offer excellent customer service, but at what point in your business will you have time? Once your business explodes, you don't have time to do that. You could start off like that, but I guarantee you, you won't have time. And don't discredit people who do have other people answering their emails. It's because they've gotten so big and that their demand for service is so great that they have to do this. It's just a part of business. We all want to continue to do and give the customer service that we can. But at what point in your health, at what point in your life is that going to be sustainable? Can you continue to do it? No, you can't. Especially as you get older, things just happen and you don't understand why they happen, but they happen. Okay. So you got to be ready for the growth. All right. And the growth comes with making sure that those systems, and now I'm talking about software, the software systems are sustaining your business. So I talked about Dubsado. So let's run through a day in the life of how I take a client from lead to now you're a client. So from lead to now you're a client is they inquire. I hit them with a link. They fill out the form. The form gives them the scheduling link. They schedule an appointment with me. Before their appointment, I analyze their form. Okay, I know exactly what this person needs before I even talk to them. So now we're on a call and I'm just trying to make sure that what I think they need is what they need. So I'm going to ask them questions. I need them to tell me about their business, because sometimes there are things that they need that they didn't put on the form, or that they thought about, like, oh my goodness, I was just thinking last night, I need this. I customize the process. And if they want to move forward, I hit them with a proposal, contract, and invoice. When they pay, they get a welcome pack. I'm not sitting there waiting for them to pay. The system is. The system is sitting there waiting to pull the trigger. So soon as they pay, first of all, let's back up. Soon as they sign a contract, an action happens. Soon as they pay, they get the welcome pack and they get the next steps to get started, which is a form based on what I need from them. Now, further, the form that they fill out goes into a whole nother system that tasks and creates a project for them in the system to get their project started when they submit the form. It gets no better than that, right? So technically, if I take myself out of that, then my entire business can run without me. So that's always my underlying question. Can your business run without you? Most likely it can't, because we don't have the systems and automation set up inside our businesses so that this can happen. So let's recap. And hey, for all of you guys that are coming in, we are talking, do you need a virtual assistant or do you need a system? One system can run your entire business. Now, the systems I talked about was because that's what I need. What I need and what you need is two totally different things. And I definitely go over that in the playbook, because, and I keep talking about this playbook because it's going to help you get your systems together. It's going to help you pick the right systems, because you don't have access to me to be able to set your systems up. You don't need me. I gave you everything in the systems playbook. Now, what's not in there is advanced stuff like webinar and events. And once you get to that place, then you have the money to pay me, right? But when you're starting off, I didn't have anybody to help me figure out what systems I need, what worked for me. And frankly, there was no one who could have given me those systems, because I require something totally different than what everyone else requires, right? My workflows and what I want are different than what someone else wants. It's no different than choosing a house you're going to live in. If, like for me, for instance, I need a big backyard because I got a big moose of a dog. But if you don't have a dog, you can be cool with just a cute, quaint patio. That's the difference. And it's no different in systems. I moved to Zoho projects because I need to see at one glance where my projects are and if anything got missed. That's why I moved to there, because that's on my wish list. My team wanted to use Trello. They love Trello. It was super easy for them, but it wasn't working for me. See the difference? This is why in the book, I tell you, create a wish list. Create a wish list of what you absolutely need. And then you match the system to your processes, not the other way around. It's like trying to fit a circle in a square hole. That's not what we do. Okay. We match the system to our processes. All right. And that will prevail and make you happy. It'll make your future team happy, and it'll make everything else easier. Okay. Of course, you're going to have to tweak the system. Of course, you're going to have to tweak the processes, but it works. Okay. If anybody has any questions, definitely drop them in the chat. Yes, one-stop shop. Yes, definitely. Having a VA and systems helped me to step back, yes, from the day-to-day administrative tasks so things run while I'm busy or out the office. Right. Yes, automation saves you peace of mind and allows you room to be creative and grow your business and nurture your clients. It's just that simple. And we all started at some point. So the system that I show you how to set up in the playbook will run your entire business. Now they have a scheduler in there. When I started, they did not have an appointment scheduler. So now this one system for $35 a month can run your entire business. And I'll show you how to set that system up in the systems playbook. So while you're working, your business can be bringing in more and more clients so that you can get to your goal of leaving your 9-to-5. But you can't get there if you're burnt out and then you're not performing on your 9-to-5, and then you can't perform in your business because you're burnt out because you're doing too much. It gives you a peace of mind, and trust me, that peace of mind gives you back energy. Because you're not sneaking. I know the 9-to-5 game. I played it. You're in the bathroom trying to talk to clients. It's sounding all hollow. You're in your car at lunch trying to have meetings with people, looking at the time. They rambling on the phone. You like, oh my God, I got to get back. It's just lunch. But they don't know that because you don't want them to know that you have a 9-to-5. Like, I've played that game. Your coworkers are being nosy, trying to figure out what you're doing. I've been there, done that, played the game. I guess I need to write a book because that's the only thing I haven't done other than the systems playbook. So definitely, yes, the hustle is definitely real. And I can speak to the hustle because I did it. But the good thing about it is I figured it out, and now you don't have to, right? So that's where the PVA playbook comes in, because I know that this is what you need to do to get to where you're going. You may not know it, but I know it. So I don't recommend anything that, number one, I haven't done myself, and number two, I know that it works. So the systems anyone ever hears me talk about are systems that I've used that I know works. Okay. So definitely. Okay. So if you guys don't have any questions, I am going to hop off because I got things to do. All right. You have been great. If you haven't gotten the systems playbook, get the systems playbook, pvaplaybook.com. I guarantee you're going to love to hate me. You're going to love to hate me. I put everything I got into this book. So definitely go ahead and get it. And you have access to me. All you have to do is make sure you're getting the emails that I'm sending, because that playbook has 1 million emails. Well, not 1 million, but I have it set up on automation to give you everything you need at the point and stage you should be at. And I also ask you for feedback. So take that into consideration. You can also ask me questions if you get stuck. So definitely get the playbook and take advantage of that. Don't just get it and don't do the work. Get it and do the work and actually set the systems up, and your life will be much, much easier. Okay. I'm talking on the beach, chilling easier. All right, guys, you are welcome. I will see you guys next Wednesday. We are talking about use what you get, use what you got to get what you want. And we're talking about systems, okay? So I'll see you guys next Wednesday at 9:30.